Okay, greetings. We are finishing up chapter 1 here, the equity method. We've spent a lot of time on this chapter. It's the foundation, it's the base of the pyramid of learning consolidated accounting methodology, and you'll see that very, very soon as we get deep into the chapters 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So that's why we've been spending a good amount of time here, because a lot of the issues here are paramount to the understanding later on. Continuing then, if part of an investment is sold, I know I'm reading the language here, but this is just informational. Part of the investment is sold, and you're talking about an investment where you're using the equity method. The equity method continues to be applied up to the date of the transaction. So what will happen is if you wind up making a sale, let's say on June 30th, on a calendar year company, as an example, you'll have to make your entries of the equity method as of June 30th, looking at the earnings of the investee or subsidiary company, looking at the dividends paid, making your adjustments, making any adjustments to those numbers based on amortization, depreciation differences that you came up with when the initial purchases were made, and applying all that to the June 30th date. Then, based on that transaction date, say June 30th, the investment account is reduced by the percentage of shares sold. So that's what you do. You take the investment account amount, so let's say it's in the investment account after you make your adjustments is $110,000, and you sold, I'll make it easy on myself. You sold 1/4 of the shares you held. You would allocate 1/4 of this amount as being the shares sold, and that would be roughly 27,500. The math might be wrong, but you get the idea, and you'll reduce the investment account by that amount. So the investment account will be reduced, and you'll wind up with whatever it is. Looks like it'll be 82,500 as after the sale. If significant influence is not lost, there's no retroactive adjustment. It says if lost. Let's go back to what I was going to say. If significant influence continues, then you just continue with the equity method from this point forward. But with the reduced number of shares. So in this case, from July 1 to the end of the year, you'd have a smaller percentage to apply your equity method. Whatever number that is, it would be smaller, be the new percentage. And then so transactions or adjusting entries would be made at the end of the year at the 12/31 date to take care of the now necessary equity method adjustments for the period of this 6 months at the end of the year. And this is just an example. It could have been any time during the year. I think you get the idea. And then we can, and we'll have maybe a problem or two you'll see with that, so we'll hopefully address it that way. We did say it in class, if significant influence is lost, no retroactive adjustment is recorded, but the equity method is no longer applied. You go back to, oops, I told you, I wanted to ask you, and say fair value. And fair value is adjusted just at balance sheet dates, just like we normally do, and that's all you do. No retroactive adjustment. Recall, if it goes the other way, if you gain significant influence, then you have a retroactive adjustment all the way back to when you started, and that is that. All right, let's see what we got here. Oops, this is a toughie. So what we're going to do is we'll take a pause here, and we'll start this a second later. Well, my second later, when you get to it, and we'll pick it up from there. Thanks.